Good evening, beautiful woman. Welcome to Isaya's Inspiring Evenings, a podcast full of goddess series, witches' secrets, colours of women and fairy seasons to integrate serenity, abundance, joy, and magic into your life. I am Isaya Bell, creatrix, magical pragmatic inspiration mentor, tech goddess teacher, and traveling priestess. And this podcast aims to accompany you for peaceful and inspiring evenings. Isaya's Inspiring Evenings has had various iterations and styles and is published irregularly. Subscribe to the podcast on the platform of your choice to be informed of the publication of each new episode. If you like this podcast, please support it by leaving stars, blue thumbs, and reviews on whatever platform you listen to me. In 2024, there are going to be 5 series in it, for now. All different, all aiming to inspire the audience, all telling stories, each complementing each other. One series, titled Women Lighting the Way, is about women's stories, centering around the past or future speakers from the various Women Lighting the Way Summit, adding to the virtual library of women's stories and providing a much-needed counterpoint to the many men's stories going around in our world of patriarchy. This is one of those episodes, and I am happy to invite you to listen to the story of Joan Kennedy, recorded in 2021, entitled, If I Can Do It, So Can You. Enjoy!
Hello there, thank you for joining me. I'm here in my studio in my back garden, so thank you for coming on and joining me here. My talk today is about if I can do it, so can you. And by that, what do I mean? Well, I am a passionate award-winning watercolour animal artist, and I have been following my dream of doing something that I absolutely love. I love creating joy through my art, but it hasn't always been that way. Let me take you back to when I was 5 years of age. 5 years of age, and I remember, I can think back on the time when I created my first self-portrait. And it was created out of newspaper and glue in school, and I can remember as clear as anything as the teacher hung it up on the wall in pride of place. And following that, going further along, when I was a lot older, one subject that I really, really loved was art. And I just enjoyed drawing, sketching, and it was my best subject in school. And I can remember wanting to do something with my art. My teacher said to me I should go on to university. In those days, you didn't go. And so I didn't go. I didn't go ahead. I remember speaking to my mum at the time, and she said to me, oh, you know what, you need to get a proper job. Go and do some working in as a typist or whatever, which I ended up becoming. And I did that for years. And I worked in a shipping company down on the docks of Dublin, down in Dublin docks. And each day I would sit by the sea and I would watch the ships come in, and I'd be sketching, waiting for the ships to come in. And I used to sketch. And one day I used to work in this porta cabin. It was a really kind of greasy porta cabin, dirty place, because obviously all these drivers used to come in from abroad and I'd have to give them their paperwork. And one day I can remember taking out my paintbrushes, and what I did was, on this old notice board, it was just this old notice board, all I could see was like a wooden frame. So I took out my paints and I started to paint something on the notice board. And all my colleagues came along and they were just like amazed at what I did. And they said to me, oh my goodness, this is what you should be doing. Can you go and do some pictures for us? So of course I used to paint them, and it was really easy for me to do, and I really loved doing it. And everything I painted, I sold. And I sold well over 50 paintings when I worked there, where I met my husband through this job, and I moved to the UK. And then what happened was I was very, very homesick. So I think my creativity just stopped, just dried up. And I did a tiny bit of painting, but it just didn't feel it inside. It just stopped. And other than working in this estate agents, chatting to one of my colleagues there, and I said to him, "Oh, I used to paint and had some stuff at home, whatever." And he said, "Oh, I'd like to see it." So anyway, I brought it in, and I can't even remember what it was, but I remember bringing in this picture, this oil painting it was, and he bought it. He bought it there and then. So fast forward, because I just, didn't bother doing anything. But deep down, probably deep down in my heart, I missed doing painting and whatever. But fast forwarding, must be about 25 years later, I moved up to the Midlands, different part of the UK, and I settled down more. And I had my daughter, and she grew up, and she was about 16 years of age at this stage. And she was trying to decide what subjects to take in school, what subjects should she do. But I basically had kind of, as she was growing up, did a little kind of dabbling back into my art again. And I said to my husband, "You know what? I really want to make a business of this. I really want to turn this into something more than just dabbling about." And he said to me, "I should just keep it as a hobby, But there's something deep inside which I just felt there had to be more. I just felt there was something more. And I remember just trying to learn how to use social media and maybe how to build a website and whatever. But my daughter, she came to me and said to me, "Mum, I've got to choose my subjects for my senior years. And I don't know what to choose." And I said to her, "Samantha, that's my daughter. I said, you've got to choose something that makes you feel happy. What's your passion? What do you feel? Choose something that makes you happy and follow your dreams." So she chose a couple of subjects which, she went down this particular path. And I remember after I said this to her, I remember sitting down on my own and feeling maybe I'm lying to her. Maybe it's the wrong advice, because there was me trying to become an artist and thinking that I might have this as a career. And yet I just felt that it was just not going anywhere. Now, up to this point, I was teaching babies and toddlers through music and helping parents with their child development. I had set up my own business, and this was happening for, it was 18 years by this stage. But as I say, there was something just deep inside. I wanted to be an artist. But as I say, I sat there and I thought to myself, following your dreams it's just not probably right advice, because it's really hard. And as I sat there, the phone rang. Out of the blue, the phone just rang. And I answered it. And this voice said to me, is that Joan Kennedy Artist? I'm really sorry, I think I've rang the wrong number. And I went, no, because nobody ever used to ring me, to be honest. No, I said, yes, nobody used to call me that, you know. And yeah, the phone answered, and I said, yes, it is. And he said to me, this voice at the end of the phone said, you probably don't remember me, but we used to work together 30 years ago. And I bought a painting from you. And I immediately remembered, because I hadn't, really done anything much since. Oh, the dog's just walking in. And he said to me, I bought this painting from you 30 years ago. And after you moved away, I set up on my own business. I set up myself. And he said, I have this painting in my office. And most days I look at this painting. And he says nothing particular special. But he says it's pride of place in my office. And he said, this was just profound. He said to me, I look at it most days, and you know what? Your style hasn't changed. And he said that it's the one thing that if the house went on fire, it would be one of the first things that I would grab, be the thing that I would want, because I treasure it so much. I was just completely shocked. And I said, I'm just blown away. I said, hang on a minute, I'm gonna pick up my girl. Come here. I'm a huge animal lover. Absolutely huge, huge animal lover. And I love painting them. But he said to me, yeah, it's the one thing that if I was to lose everything, if the house went on fire or whatever, it's one thing that I would have to take with me. And I was just so shocked. Hold on, put her down now. And he said to me that one day I was looking at your painting, and I said to my daughter, I wonder what happened to her. I wonder what she's doing. I wonder if she's still painting. I wonder what became of her. And his daughter said to him, oh, that's easy, Daddy. Why don't you just look her up on the internet? And he said, I couldn't believe it because he's not into the internet or whatever. But she put in my name and I popped up, and that's when he found me straight away. And that's when he saw what I was doing. I was still dabbling away. And it was the turning point for me, because I just realized that even though it's hard, and even though our dreams are hard sometimes to follow, and it is like not just climbing a mountain, but it's climbing up a steep cliff at times, that we do have to keep going. And I just realized that maybe I was in the right place after all. And that moment in time just kept going. And I ended up applying to see if I could get a grant to write a book. And I did. And I learned how to write and illustrate and published my book, which you can see on Amazon, called The Scruffy Dog Story. And there's one picture of it, which is, bear with me. There's one picture of it, which is of a little mouse trying to follow his dreams. And this was basically, I think that I feel like a little mouse, and maybe you feel sometimes that you're like a little mouse trying to follow your dreams, because this picture was called Big Dreams. But from there, from having created the book and illustrated and published it, I then found out that I got selected to go to Prague, and I managed to exhibit in the British Embassy in Prague. This was through the Department of Trade and Industry. So I went to Prague, and then I found a way of finding a mentor who looked at my work and said it was just incredible. I just needed to keep going. He was a famous artist and gave me a whole day of his time, Dean Melbourne. He helped me to believe in myself just for a complete day with him. I just thought, you know what, I will just keep going. Only to find then that I got selected as one of 6 businesses in the whole of the Midlands to go on an export mission to China. And when I went to China, I sold everything that I brought. And the following year, I did a whole collection of art for both China and for the UK that I took with me for people who I thought might enjoy both of these. And this gallery, this huge gallery, Funner Art, they took one look and bought the whole range. And they have the art that they take around in China. And I got basically selected 4 times. On the 3rd time when I went, I won Best Exhibit Award. This was in a place called Ningbo. And then I went again to Hangzhou. And not only have I won over there a Best Exhibit Award, I also won an award over here last year, Fine Artist of the Year award. I won that last year, and I'm due to have won another award this year. So my message to you is, put your hand on your heart, find out what gives you joy, and do what I did, because you can. Just follow your dreams. And you know what? You never know where it's going to take you, whatever it might be. It took a long time for me to actually even call myself an artist, a professional artist. And I'm still learning. I've still had to learn how to use technology, and there's a lot of magic that I still want to create. But I know from what I do, the joy that it gives me, I have been able to pass this joy on to people, whether it is through a painting of an animal, pet portrait, or through teaching people to enjoy and follow their dreams through art. They've come to my classes and I'm teaching them to paint. So I just feel it's just full circle. So I hope that will inspire you to follow your dreams. Thanks for watching. Bye.
That's it for this episode. The next one is still in creation. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to support this podcast, share, subscribe, and leave stars, blue thumbs, and a review on whichever platform you listen to. If you want to be accompanied in the change processes that life offers you, if you want to live a goddess life daily and participate in the awakening of feminine energy in the world, know the secrets of witches, and apply the rituals of fairies in your daily life, contact me on my website, isayabelle.com. You can also subscribe to my newsletter to be informed of all the news in the real and virtual world of Isaya. You will, of course, find this podcast on all platforms: Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, etc., but also on YouTube and on my website, isayabelle.com, on the podcast page.